Samvidhaan showdown has escalated. Now, in the latest news coming in, government has announced the Murder of Democracy Day. The government of India has decided to observe 25th June every year here on as Samvidhaan Hatya Day. Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas, which means the death of the Constitution Day. And on the day the Constitution was killed. This day will commemorate immense contribution of all those who suffered inhuman pain and torture during the 1975 emergency when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. Home Minister Amit Shah has taken to social media site and has said, and I quote him here, the decision taken by the government of the centre under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi aims to honour the struggle of millions of people who fought to revive democracy despite facing innumerable pain and torture and oppression of the dictatorial government. Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas will work to keep alive the eternal flame of protection of democracy and individual freedom inside every Indian, so the dictatorial mindset of the Congress party can not repeat in future. Aishwarya Paliwal is joining me on the phone line for this. Aishwarya, this is very interesting. Now, it took a few days to really take this decision. It's about June 25th. But it's a reminder, clearly, isn't it, that the BJP is trying to ensure that people do not forget the emergency era.
Well, definitely, Pooja, and we also saw how this all began when even Prime Minister, when he spoke for the first time after winning the Lok Sabha elections, he spoke about the fact that there was an emergency which was indeed being pushed. And the other thing that we have seen BJP do off late, Pooja, is the Constitution. Now, this is very tough fight that we have seen, the tug of war of course, Pooja, in Congress and the BJP to actually own the Constitution. And that's the reason why we are seeing on one hand, it is Rahul Gandhi and his India alliance partners who actually walked, on the floor of the parliament, inside the parliament with copies. They took oaths, with copies of the Constitution. Now, the BJP is making sure that they speak about the fact that 25th June was in fact the Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas, which means that was the day when the Constitution was actually killed. So, tug of war of sorts, Pooja, we are seeing being played out between the Congress and the BJP. Both the parties now wanting to own the Constitution of the country.
Aishwarya, stay on with me because for the viewer tuning in right now, 25th June here on will be observed as Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas, Murder of Democracy Day, and this is for people to be reminded of and remember about the oppression, torture and pain people suffered when they were objecting to the emergency era that was imposed by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Aishwarya, how do you think the reactions are going to be? Because it's very clear that it's not just about the emergency era, that Home Minister Amit Shah is also saying that this is a dictatorial mindset of the Congress party. And the people of this country need to remember this forever.
The people of the country need to remember this, Pooja, and we have seen how actually it was the Constitution.
Stay on with me, Aishwarya. I apologize to interrupt you there because already reactions are coming in. Remember, this is going to be a huge political showdown. Congress leader, Congress MP Marikam Tagore is joining me right now on the phone line. Mr. Tagore, you tell me, Murder of Democracy Day, 25th June, here on.
This is happening every day in this parliament of Mr. Modi. This is ridiculous for Mr. Amit Shah to go to this level. We all know that their conspiracy to murder the Constitution was exposed when 400 Par slogan, when they raised it in the parliament and when their parliament members and their candidates told that they want 400 Par because they want to change the Constitution. Therefore, people of India reduced them from 400 Par to 238. Mr. Modi lost the majority mark. With the help of Chandrababu Naidu ji and Nitish Babu, they are running a government. Now, without their help, they are a minority government. We all know that they have lost the mandate of the people. Now, these kind of dramas, Mr. Amit Shah can keep on doing it. People are not bothered about it. We all know that the emergency was a mistake, and in that time itself, our party has accepted it. It's full stop. We are moving on into it. Now, every day, in Parliament, Constitution is being murdered. We are not allowed to speak. We are not, opposition leader has been heckled by the even Prime Minister. Everywhere agencies are used, chief ministers are in jail. All these kind of things, undeclared emergency is in place. Therefore, people are watching it. People will punish them in Maharashtra, Haryana and Jharkhand. Mark my words.
Mr. Tagore, what do you say to Home Minister Amit Shah saying that people need to remember millions of people who suffered torture and pain due to the oppression, and if they were trying to boycott, they were trying to raise their voice, and that is what this is a tribute to them?
We know that RSS has trained them to get the diversion happen because they want from the real issues diversion. The real issues is the NEET mishap, blunders where 25 lakh students' life is at danger. The real danger is of the students' lives in danger. That they are not able to worried about it. They wanted to spoke about a 40-year-old story, which in that time itself, rulers has accepted that that's a mistake. People has punished them in 77, 77, and 80 people elected Indira Ji again. Therefore, that story is over. Why he has to put the old record again and again and then again and again?
Why do you think, Mr. Tagore, this old record that you're saying is being brought in 2024? Because they say it's to remember the people who suffered. What do you think is the reason?
It is to divert people from the real issues of today, NEET, Manipur, and the farmers' distress. They want us to get diverted from their real issues. Therefore, only they are doing this drama, because July 22nd, when Parliament starts, their failures will be exposed again in Parliament.
I appreciate you joining us, Mr. Manikam Tagore is the Congress Member of Parliament. The first reactions already coming in of our politicians. Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas, 25th June here on, because that is when the emergency was imposed in 1975. And remember, there were heavy restrictions that you and I cannot imagine presently. And that included that there were mass arrests, torture and pain that was inflicted on those who had objected. But the Congress party says that that's old now. It's done and dusted with. Why is the Home Ministry or the government currently is bringing forth? Home Minister Amit Shah, in the statement he has put forth, has said, basically this is to remember people who have suffered immense torture, pain, inhuman pain of the emergency. And the decision has been taken by the government to honor the struggles of millions of people who fought to revive democracy despite all that they faced at the dictatorial government. But what's interesting is how that statement ends. It refers that there's been a dictatorial mindset like that of the Congress party, and people should remember to not want to repeat it again. So that's a big news coming in. Samvidhaan showdown, and expect very strong reactions on it, both as defense from the Bharatiya Janata Party, and now that the India bloc has big numbers in the parliament, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, there will be strong responses coming in as well. But, you know, it's very interesting that the Home Ministry has taken that decision. This is, of course, as much perhaps a tribute to those who were tortured. Many passed away, in fact, because of the pain that was inflicted at them in custody. But it is, of course, political as much to charge at the Congress party and say that it is not about 1975, but it's the dictatorial mindset of the Congress party that's always been. Saying that inexplicable persecution at the hands of an oppressive government in 1975, the decision for observing Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas will help keep the eternal flame of individual freedom and defense of our democracy alive in every Indian. It will prevent dictatorial forces like the Congress party from repeating those horrors. In many ways also stating that people should remember that when Congress comes to power or in government, this is what they do. They impose emergency like Indira Gandhi had done. They are definitely known as the dark days of democracy and for India. The massive restrictions that had been put in place, whether it was about points of view and more. But I can tell you now that this is going to be a big political showdown as well. So the Gazette, which is an official notification that has been shared as well, and have said that this decision is to ensure that the struggle of people, that those who dared to rise at that time and suffered, that they will remember. So we'll go across to our colleagues in just a short while who are updating us constantly about why and how this decision has been taken. Because remember clearly there would have been a lot of discussion and deliberation on this case. Aishwarya Paliwal continues to be with us. Aishwarya, clearly the first reaction has come in from the Congress party. MP Manikam Tagore has said this is just diversion of issues. This is an old record that they want to play again. What do you think is going to turn out? What do you think is the strategy of the government here, the BJP, to have a murder of democracy day to be observed?
Well, the strategy at the moment, Pooja, is very, very clear. We are seeing how the Bharatiya Janata Party is now wanting to own the constitution, because the saving of the constitution was the war cry which was being followed by the entire India alliance in the result. And we did see how that actually made sure that the Bharatiya Janata Party stops at 240 seats in the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections. So we are seeing that this is reclaiming of sorts. That's something that the Bharatiya Janata Party now is wanting to do. And that's the reason why time and again, be it the top leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party, specifically be it Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, he also has been speaking about the fact that one should not forget what emergency was. And they have been saying that it was emergency. Those were indeed the darkest days if we speak about Indian history. So keeping all those things in mind, and a revision of sorts is being done by the Bharatiya Janata Party, and obviously, Pooja, very clearly an attempt to make sure that they reclaim the constitution. A tug of war taking place, Pooja, between the Congress and the BJP. Congress on one side, the top leaders, even leaders including, leaders like Akhilesh Yadav were also seen in the parliament holding copies of the constitution. All those things very clearly being kept in mind by the Congress party, the BJP now wanting to reclaim the constitution and wanting to make sure that everyone remembers what emergency days were like. Pooja.
Aishwarya, stay on with me, because as I'm scrolling the social media, I can already say that this has become a huge talking point and people have their opinions on it, on the Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas, the Murder of Democracy Day, and that is to mark 25th June 1975. To how it is a reminder and remember of how dark days truly were, specifically the days of emergency. So this is an announcement that is coming from Home Minister Amit Shah. Aishwarya, because do you think this will be reflected possibly in the days to come also with the India bloc leaders and not just the Congress party that are going to react on this, specifically in the upcoming parliament sessions, for example?
Well, definitely, we did see how Akhilesh Yadav was also seen holding that very important constitution, a copy of the constitution. The India Alliance actually made it a war cry. They went to the voters and said that you need to vote for the opposition, for the India Alliance, if you want to save the Samvidhan, that is the constitution. So it was actually a war that was being fought for the constitution. In fact, the opposition was also saying, just in case the BJP gets an overwhelming majority, 400 par is something that the BJP was saying that they will get. The opposition clearly said if they get 400, then the first thing they will do is change the constitution. So because of those things, we are now seeing slowly, the Bharatiya Janata Party is making sure that they remind the people what Indira Gandhi had done. They remind the people of the history of the Congress party and also tell them about the dark days of the emergency, which was imposed by none other than the Congress party.
But it's very interesting here, Aishwarya, isn't it, that the Congress party till now, the India bloc, had the whole constitution issue with them, that this government, if it comes with an absolute majority, it will change the constitution. Do you think this is also an attempt by the ruling party to turn the narrative on its head and against the Congress party?
Well, definitely, that is what they want to do, because we have seen, and this is what the Bharatiya Janata Party is now expecting, that in the upcoming session, which begins on the 22nd of July, Pooja, that's the time when the opposition will definitely try to make sure that they once again step into the, on the floor of the parliament. They enter the parliament. All of them, the majority of opposition leaders, at least the top opposition's leaders, speak about the constitution and how constitution has been saved, because that is what the India Alliance said when on the 4th of July, the results came out. Rahul Gandhi specifically has been speaking about the fact that it is only the Congress party that thinks about the constitution and the people, and BJP does not care about the constitution. So this is flipping through the history. If we speak about the BJP, they want everyone to understand and to know what the constitution stands for. And they also have been now trying to make sure that they indeed tell the people that the real saviors, the real heroes with regards to the constitution has been Bharatiya Janata Party. Pooja.
Remember that there have been constantly this narrative by the Congress party of the India bloc during elections, Aishwarya, stay on with me, that constitution is being murdered by the BJP, and if they come back for the third term, they are going to completely tarnish it. What the BJP is saying, that to really understand what happened when constitution was murdered, when democracy was murdered, it was during the emergency era. And the fact is that the sort of mass arrests and mass torture that did take place in the 1970s during the emergency, which is all out in public domain, was absolutely inhuman. And in many ways, it is a reminder of what situation can become. Manjinder Singh Sirsa is joining me for the latest on this, the BJP leader. The Congress says, Mr. Sirsa, that this is an old record. It has happened. It is past. Why do you have to bring it in 2024?
Because every citizen of this country should always remember that what Congress can do when they are in power. They should always remember how their forefathers were tortured in the Indira Gandhi rule, how emergency was imposed, how there was no right to speak, right to speech, how judiciary was captured, how people were put in behind jails for months and months without any fault, just because they were speaking for the people of this country. So I think every citizen in coming days should always be aware of this fact. And they said, "Hua tha to pehle hua tha." This is Congress culture. When you talk about 1984, they say the same thing. "Hua tha to hua tha." But the thing is, why shouldn't? And now you tell me one thing. The youths celebrate their day. They always remember their day. आज तक उन्होंने अपना memorial बनाया. I so feel that there should be one memorial where all those people who were tortured, their all life prisons should be put it there. एक देश के अंदर इसके ऊपर एक जिस तरह से 1984 का हमने मेमोरियल बनाया, मुझे लगता है कि 1975 की इस तरह इमरजेंसी का एक मेमोरियल होना चाहिए. और देश की सरकार ने बहुत अच्छा फैसला किया. मैं गृह मंत्री जी को, भारत के प्रधानमंत्री जी को बधाई देता हूँ. आने वाली हमारी जनरेशन तक को ये याद रहेगा कि कांग्रेस सत्ता में आने पे क्या क्या कर सकती है, क्या क्या करने की क्षमता रखती है और किस हद तक इस देश के साथ इमरजेंसी लगाकर कत्लेआम और अत्याचार कर सकती है. ये मेरी आने वाली जनरेशन को पता होना जरूरी है.
All right, Mr. Manjinder Singh, sir, so thank you very much. So, as BJP leaders are saying, it's important for the next generation to be reminded of what Congress party in power is capable of, while the Congress party is saying that was such an old record, it's happened, it's in the past. Why shouldn't the government focus on what it is doing today with regard to democracy and constitution? So we'll be tracking that big story. Remember, there'll be non-stop reactions coming in on this. It's a debate point. And what do you think of this? That should there be a Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas to mark the emergency era of 1975?